Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is the Admiral. This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Teen Time Riders YouTube channel with the titular character from GX. Now, I don't blame you guys if you don't remember this guy, but he basically came to GX on a search for that swashbuckler Jaden Yuki to start an underground duel academy where Jaden would be his first mate and make everything sort of happen down there. But as you guys know, he is a one-off kind of character, appeared in only one episode, but nevertheless, since he was a character for GX, we want to profile his deck. So avast ye swashbucklers and prepare ye booty, for we're getting into this deck right now. Starting things out, guys, we're starting things with one copy of the Ocean Dragon Lord Daedalus. Now, the Ocean Dragon Lord Daedalus is basically a Chaos Emperor dragon of monsters, and when he's on the board, he can you can tribute an Umi or a card that's treated as Umi to send all cards on your opponent's side of the all cards in your hand and on your field to the graveyard. But of course, we couldn't have him if we didn't have this guy right here. 3 copies of Levia Dragon Daedalus, and I made sure to go for the Invasion of Chaos first eds. And to put it in Alexis's words, that's a lot of booty. Now, Levia Dragon Daedalus is a sea serpent type monster that basically allows you to send an Umi on your side of the field, and instead of sending the cards from your hand to the graveyard, you destroy all cards on the field except this card. Now, combined together with your Legendary Ocean, puts its level down to 6, which means it gains 200 attack and then will also only require 1 tribute. But one thing to note with Ocean Dragon Lord Daedalus is that he actually requires you to tribute Daedalus on your board. And this version was actually misprinted, so there is a corrected art version I'm currently looking for that has the right text on it. But do note that just because this card has this language in here does not necessarily mean anything. So I'm going to put these guys up here. Next cards we've got are 3 copies of the Warrior of Atlantis. You can use this card to search out your Legendary Ocean from your deck to your hand, which is really, really awesome and definitely required in this deck. Now, moving on. Seafaring swashbuckler like the Admiral's deck would not be complete without a couple copies of the Legendary Fisherman suite. We've got 3 copies of the Legendary Fisherman 2 and 2 copies of the Legendary Fisherman 3. Now, both of these cards are really, really interesting, particularly Legendary Fisherman 2, because it combines together, and because he's a level 5, he goes to a level 4 under the Legendary Ocean, and when he is sent to the graveyard by a monster effect, I believe it is, or he's unaffected by monster effects, and when he's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, either by battle or card effects, you can search a level 7 monster from your deck to your hand, which of course is a Legendary Fisherman 3 or your Levia Dragon Daedalus to the hand. Now, Legendary Fisherman 3, when he comes to the board, you contribute a Legendary Fisherman monster to bring him out. And what he does is he'll banish all monsters your opponent controls. He's unaffected by spell and trap cards and cannot be targeted by monster effects, or I believe it's not cannot be destroyed by monster effects. And then what he does is basically banishes all your opponent's stuff, and then he cannot attack. But if you've got another monster out in the field, you can take all their banished stuff, put it back in their graveyard, and the first monster who inflicts damage from your side of the field that turn inflicts double the points. So if you got Legendary Fisherman 3 and you also got a Daedalus, or you got a Daedalus on the board, big damage coming your opponent's way. Just a heads up there. Next cards we've got are 2 copies of Cotorus. This is one of your main monsters, otherwise one of the favorite monsters of Lord Lunar Prime, otherwise known as the Water King, a legendary old Yugioh who was one of a set of twins. One built water decks and one built fire decks. Very, very cool group of people if you want to go check them out in the future. Cotorus is one of the early cards that sends cards from your opponent's side of the field to the graveyard by tributing your Legendary Ocean. So you guys can see the Legendary Ocean is a very, very big part of this deck, and definitely something that you want to keep an eye out. 1 copy of Lost Blue Breaker. Use him when you control a sea serpent type monster. Tribute him on the board and destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. Very, very good card. We've got one copy of the amphibious Bugroth MK3. Now, when Umi is on your side of the field, this card can attack your opponent's life points directly, which is a nice smacking of 1,700 points directly at them. Good to have that amphibious Bugroth to do some submarine searches. One copy of Deep Sea Diva pairs perfectly with the Lost Blue Breaker in your deck, and also with one copy of Spined Gilman, who allows fish, sea serpent, and aqua-type monsters you control to gain 400 attack power. Very, very good if you're assembling a massive field for an OTK to get that swashbuckler Jaden onto ye ship. One copy of the Deep Sweeper. Tribute this guy on your side of the field to destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. Pretty self-explanatory. One copy of the Abyss Warrior, who allows you to discard a water monster to the grave and then target a monster in either player's graveyard and return it to the top of the deck. Stack something good on the top of your deck or stack something bad on the top of theirs. It's your choice. And the final monster we've got is Armed Sea Hunter, which protects level 3 monsters you control, or if you control another face-up water monster, you negate the effect of monsters that battle with this card. That's going to do it for our monsters. Now moving on to the spells and traps, me hearties. This deck wouldn't be the deck that it is without the Legendary Ocean. And this card is probably the linchpin of this entire deck because it allows you to have your water monsters lose a level and gain 200 attack power. Now, in modern decks that revolve around synchro summons and other things like that, a Legendary Ocean is not the card that you want to really be using because, usually you want to get monsters that have higher attack powers. So with some of the new cards like that. However, in this deck where you have no synchro monsters, the lower your levels are, the easier your monsters get summoned. And Legendary Ocean comes in huge right here. I'm thinking about adding other related Yumi type cards into this deck to just try and buff it out. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments. Next cards we've got in here, 3 copies of the Monarch Storm 4th. Not all of the time you will have monsters on your side of the field to tribute, so it's best to use your opponent's stuff as well, particularly if you don't have a Legendary Ocean out for your Yumi play. But the coolest play is using a Monarch Storm 4th under a Legendary Ocean, tribute a tough monster your opponent controls that would negate your stuff, and then tribute it for your Levia Dragon Daedalus, who will then wipe the board. Of course, since we got those legendary fishermen in here, we've got Feast of the Wild level 5. Revive any 2 water warrior monsters from your grave or special summon them from your hand. But their effects are negated. So usually you would use this for like an XYZ summon if you wanted. However, it's just in here to have to get your fishermen on the board. And then when they're destroyed, inevitably, you search out your level 7 monsters and continue your plays from there. 2 copies of the one and only Aquajet. Permanently gives any monster you control that is a fish, sea serpent, or aqua-type monster 1,000 attack. So a lot of people might not realize that, but a permanent boost is a lot better than one that just goes away during the end phase. We've got 1 terraforming in here because it's only at 1, and you'd rather have the terraforming. 1 copy of the Water Hazard. If you control no monsters, you can special summon a level 4 lower water monster to the field, which is actually also awesome to get yourself a tribute summon material out very, very easily. And speaking of great ways to get your cards out, the one and only Big Wave, Small Wave. Tribute any number of water monsters to special summon an equal number of your from your hand, regardless of the level. Do note that this is kind of a -1 in multiple ways. It removes your advantage and puts all your stuff out. So I didn't think it was worthy in here at any more than 1, but my heart is subject to change on that. 1 copy of Soul Exchange, a worse version of Monarch Storm 4th, but nevertheless, tribute summoning in a deck with so many high levels in here, like the Admirals, is very important. And we're finally closing things off with the one and only Book of Moon. Now, for traps, we only have 3 traps in the deck. It is 2 copies of Forgotten Temple of the Deep, also treated as Umi as well, which is great, and then allows you to banish a monster that you control level 4 lower monster you control and special summon it later to kind of protect it and allow you to keep your tribute summoning stuff going. And the final card we've got is a Fiend Hand Mirror, which redirects spell cards. That's going to do it for the Admiral's deck. I really hope you guys enjoyed the profile, and if you do, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to the Team Time Riders YouTube channel for more awesome content just like this. Would like to thank you guys for watching this video, and please let me know what deck profiles you guys want to see next. But this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel, signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.